You know, those massive cargo ships that power our entire global economy, they need fuel, a lot of it. And for more than 100 years, that fuel has been a pretty dirty secret. But right now, a revolution is happening, swapping out the old, thick sludge for something cleaner, way colder, and a whole lot more complex. So let's get into it.
So how exactly is this huge change going down? Well, first, we're going to uncover shipping's dirty little secret. Then we'll meet the cleaner, colder fuel that's taking its place. We'll look at how this high-stakes fuel handover actually happens, peek inside the incredible cryogenic tanks that make it all possible, and then, of course, we're going to tackle the big safety questions. And finally, we'll look ahead to see what this all means for the future of how we move things around the planet.
For decades, the lifeblood of global shipping has been a substance that's, well, it's about as nasty as it sounds.
Yeah, heavy fuel oil, or HFO. It's literally the thick, sludgy stuff left over at the bottom of the barrel after you refine crude oil. Think of it as the dregs. Now, it's cheap and it's powerful, but man, is it polluting. And that's a huge problem now because new international rules called MARPOL Annex 6 are cracking down hard on harmful emissions from ships. It's forcing the entire industry to clean up its act and find a whole new way to power itself.
And that alternative is liquefied natural gas, or LNG. It is a total game changer. But, and this is a big but, it comes with its own very unique, very cold set of challenges. So what exactly is LNG? Well, it's just natural gas that's been chilled way, way down until it becomes a liquid. Now, why on earth would you go to all that trouble? It's all about volume. The process shrinks the gas by a factor of 600. That means a ship can carry a massive amount of energy in a pretty small space. But here's the kicker. To keep it liquid, it has to stay at an incredible minus 163 degrees Celsius. That's colder than the surface of Mars. Seriously. We're not just talking about fuel here. This is a cryogenic substance that requires some of the most advanced engineering on the entire planet just to handle it safely.
So how in the world do you get this supercooled liquid from the shore onto a giant moving ship? The whole process is called bunkering. And you can think of it like a high-stakes, precision-engineered pit stop for these absolute titans of the sea.
And you know, there isn't just one way to do it. It's not one size fits all. As you can see, the method really depends on the port, the ship, everything. Smaller jobs? Hey, you can do that with a simple truck-to-ship transfer. The big, major ports might have permanent pipelines, but for the really huge ships, the most efficient way is a dedicated ship-to-ship transfer, where a specialized tanker pulls up alongside and basically acts as a floating gas station.
Okay, so the fuel is on board. Now you have a new problem. Where do you possibly store something that's minus 163 degrees? Well, you need what is basically the world's most sophisticated thermos bottle.
Under the International Maritime Rulebook, LNG fuel tanks pretty much fall into two main categories. You've got independent tanks, which are their own self-supporting structures that get placed inside the ship's hull, and then you have membrane tanks, which are actually integrated right into the ship's structure itself.
And here you can really see the two designs in action. Look at the left. That membrane tank acts like a really thin, high-tech liner that's built right into the ship's hull. But on the right, that's the Type C independent tank. It's basically a giant, insulated, pressurized cylinder that's built completely separately and then lowered into the vessel. Two very different approaches to the same problem.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Handling a cryogenic, flammable fuel on this kind of scale, it obviously brings up a huge question. How do you keep this stuff safe?
This is the question, and it's the one that guides every single step of an LNG bunkering operation. The answer really lies in just meticulous planning and putting layer after layer of safety protocols in place.
Trust me, absolutely nothing is left to chance. Before a single drop of LNG is transferred, crews go through this incredibly rigorous checklist. Is the weather safe? Check. Are the mooring lines secure? Check. Is every piece of safety gear, from fire extinguishers to gas detectors, ready to go at a moment's notice? Check. A restricted zone is set up, and only when every single item is checked off can the process even begin.
What's really interesting is that the physics of LNG actually helps manage the risk. It's only flammable within this really narrow window when the concentration of methane in the air is between 5 and 15%. Any less than that, and there's just not enough fuel to ignite. Any more, and there's not enough oxygen. All the safety systems on board are designed around this very specific property.
You can think of the safety strategy like a castle with multiple walls. It's built in layers.
The absolute first priority is always prevention, just making sure a leak never ever happens. But if it does, the next layer of safeguards is all about containing that leak and stopping it from igniting. And the final layer, the last resort, is to detect and extinguish any fire that might occur.
So, with all this incredible technology and all this safety in place, what does the future actually hold for LNG as a marine fuel? Where are we headed?
Here's the thing. While LNG is a massive, massive improvement over that old heavy fuel oil, it's not the final destination. The industry really sees it as a transitional fuel. It's a critical stepping stone that slashes emissions today while giving us the time we need to develop the next generation of truly zero-carbon fuels, like, say, green hydrogen or ammonia.
Look, the switch to LNG is a monumental change for global shipping. It's an incredible feat of engineering that's already making our oceans cleaner. It is the bridge to a cleaner future. But the biggest question still remains. What's waiting for us on the other side of that bridge? And how quickly can we get there?